Hi, welcome to another episode of Soto Desperado Plays Star Wars The Old Republic. We're over here chilling out. We got a couple of missions on Voss last time, and this is where I left off. So I'm going to continue from here. I do have some stuff lined up. Let's get that out of the way. That's my recorder. And says she divorced him over Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a stupid card game that a lot of people tried to get me into when they first came out. And I was like, nah, I'll pass. Because I was already into Magic the Gathering. So, yeah. Anyway.
What is going on, guys? So on today's episode, I've got a little bit of a different video for you here today, and it is titled, I Got Divorced Over Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of you guys have been sending me this one, asking me to cover it, and I think it's absolutely insane. So we're going to be talking about it here today. Now, if you don't know what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, for whatever reason, you live under a rock. It is essentially a card game. It's a game. It's a nerdy activity, right? Nothing against nerdy activities. I personally used to love Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was younger. Absolutely fantastic. So this guy was in a marriage, and then his wife divorced him, as far as I understand, because she just couldn't handle the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. So let's jump right in, guys. As always, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. I'm going to leave a link to the original video from this guy down in the description and the pinned comment. Let's jump in.
I need to say this, and I'm going to say it straight out the way. I am no longer married, and I'm divorced. This is not what this video is about, but there's something that you guys need to know. When I met this woman, and I told her about my Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff, she hated it. She didn't like it. She said that, hey, you can do something better with your life. You should go back to school.
Okay, so let me pause it here. And this is where I have to say to the dude, what the hell were you doing? If you get with a woman and you tell her about this Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff, and the first words out of her mouth were that she thinks that it's stupid and you shouldn't be doing it, then just don't get involved with the woman in the first place. If this is such a big part of your life, so if you guys didn't know, his whole YouTube channel, he's got a YouTube channel, the one we're on right now. It's called Your Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel. It has 104,000 subscribers on it. So this dude clearly takes Yu-Gi-Oh! Seriously, okay? If you are getting with a woman and she thinks that this is stupid and that you shouldn't be doing it, why would you get with the woman in the first place? Why would you commit to her? And then why would you decide to go on and marry this same woman? You know, guys, I think if dudes were out here and they were like, you know, this whole makeup thing is really stupid. You need to stop doing it. Or, yeah, you need to go back to school. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. You know, imagine how the women would react to this. But for whatever reason, dudes just put up with this and then put themselves through these situations. Now, not to say I don't empathize with this guy, okay? Going through a divorce is obviously horrible. But why would you marry this woman in the first place if she clearly doesn't care about something that's really quite important to you? Or at the very least, she doesn't despise it like she does.
So you know what I did back in 2016, 17, 16? I said, you know what? Maybe she's right. And you know what I did? I sold all my equipment. I sold my YouTube channel. I sold all my camera stuff. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it is time to move on. Maybe it's time for me to do something better with my life.
Okay, and this is where I have to roast the dudes, man. Dudes will just drop everything because a woman told them so. Oh, I don't like that you play video games. And so the dude will drop video games even though he loves playing video games. Or, oh, I don't like that you've got this kind of car. And so dudes will sell the car. I'm sorry, guys, but if I have a car and some woman goes, I don't like your car, that's nice. I didn't get the car so that you could have a good opinion on it. Do you know what I mean, guys? It's ridiculous. Dudes will just drop everything. They'll compromise the things that they love and that they care about right off the bat for a woman. And I don't even care if it's right off the bat, guys. Why would you drop things like this? This guy sold his equipment, he sold his channel, and so on.
Not knowing that at that time, what I had was very special. At that time, something that I chose to do, YouTube. I had something going on. Even though I had some drama and stuff going on before, and I shut down my channel a few times, I had something that I completely gave up. I gave it up because someone said, hey, you know what? Maybe it is time to move on. You got to do something better with your life. There got to be something more for your life. And I sold all my stuff for a woman. And she's no longer here. And this.
I really hope this guy realizes how stupid this decision was. I don't mean to be mean to him or anything like this, guys, but I really hope he understands that this was a terrible idea. And going forward, he won't do something like this again. I see a lot of guys do this. They'll just do anything, you know. The woman says, okay, go do this. And he'll just instantly do it, even if it's just something completely ridiculous, even if it involves giving up something that he really loves or really cares about.
Problem persists. She told me at that time, hey, you want to meet my mother? You need a car. Because I didn't have a car at the time. I was doing YouTube. I was working from home. I didn't need to drive anywhere. Yes, YouTube is what I did for a living. It's how I paid my bills. And I was street performing also.
Right, so here's the thing, guys. When women come to you and they have these sorts of demands, they don't care about you. Oh, you need to get this if blah, blah, blah. Like they hand you these little ultimatums, or maybe it's a big ultimatum and things like this. I think when somebody hands you an ultimatum, I think it's a really great way to weed out people, to be honest. You know, if people are handing you ultimatums like this, they don't actually care about you. They care more about the reputation of being with you and what you can do for them, rather than you as a person. Again, guys, imagine if dudes came out here with silly ultimatums like this, okay? If the dude didn't need this, why should he go and get one? You know what I'm saying? He works from home. I'm assuming the grocery store must be nearby. He does street performing, and yet she wants him to go out and buy some sort of vehicle to impress her mother. And if he doesn't, then he can't meet her mother or parents or whatever it was. Again, guys, like, what the hell is this? So this dude has to compromise his financial situation or get things that he doesn't need just so that you can have a little status boost in front of your parents. It's so stupid, guys. They don't, you know, women who do this, they genuinely do not care about you.
How did I street perform? I just catch the bus 20 minutes down the street, played my horn, went home. I never needed a car.
Yeah, exactly.
But when I met this woman, you have to go back to school. You have to exercise. You have to get your degree. You have to do something better with your life. Even though I explained to her, this is what I chose to do. A woman comes in your life and try to tell you the plan that you chose for your life is wrong. And out of love, I choose to say, you know what? Maybe she's right. And I took a chance. I took a chance.
Okay, let me stop this guy here. You know, see, this guy says he did this out of love. In my perspective, it's a lack of self-respect. You see what I'm saying? It's like you chose to compromise yourself because a woman told you to do something or a series of things that you shouldn't be doing. I think at a certain point, guys, you know, dudes need to look at themselves and say, why in the hell am I doing this? You know what I'm saying? So let me get this straight. Woman gets with you, right? You get with this woman, knowing full well that you do Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever it is, knowing how you choose to live your life, and she sits there and tries to change you, which is annoying as hell, incredibly stupid, don't get it wrong, and then you decide to agree, and you think that's a good idea. You know? I think a lot of guys, they don't do this stuff out of love for the woman. I think it's out of a lack of self-respect, and also they don't have many options with women, so they want to listen to what the woman says so that they don't have to replace her. But at the end of the day, guys, I'll say this. You're probably better off being by yourself than being with a woman who doesn't care about you and gives you these stupid ultimatums. You are going to be better off by yourself, in my opinion. I think a lot of guys have realized that, particularly the older dudes who have been married, been divorced, or whatever the case may be, been through these long-term relationships. If you tell them to, for example, sell a vehicle, get a vehicle because it makes the woman look good, they're just going to say no.
I say, you know what? I'm going to give this up completely. Like, for good. Sold the channel to Jobber. Sold all my stuff. Tried to go back to school multiple times. I don't want to say that I can't finish school, but it certainly feels like I can't. I don't know what it is. And every time I talk to people, they just think that everything I say is just an excuse. You are a grown man. You are an adult. You can do it. It's like no one can see it from my perspective. It's like I am always wrong.
I mean, don't get it twisted. I think you probably could complete it. I think most people can complete school. I think modern day schooling is a complete joke, guys. It's designed to steal from you. Now, let me say this. Do I think that it's necessarily a good idea? Probably not. I think a lot of things like universities, colleges, whatever they're called, depending on where you live, these places are a business, and they will absolutely scam you, and they will try and put you in a ridiculous amount of debt. So maybe that's what he's referring to there. You know, financially, he can't afford to do such a decision, which makes sense. But if he's talking about in terms of actually completing it, I think this guy probably could complete the units and stuff they have for him. But I'll agree in the sense that I think it's a stupid idea. A lot of these places don't actually care about making you successful or getting you anywhere in life and things like this. I mean, guys, modern education to me is such a damn joke. It's not even funny. How many people do you see walking around these days and they think they're educated, but they're really not? They've been through a whole bunch of schooling. You know, they've got a whole bunch of debt for some useless degree, and they want to tell you that they are more educated than you and things like this. It's so insane.
When I study, what I do? I fall asleep. What do they say? Hey, you're lazy. You're procrastinating. You're choosing not to do this. And I'm like, that's got to be something wrong with me. When it comes to school, studying, and staying on task and staying focused, I just can't do it. And I try, and I go back to school, and I pay all this money, and I pay all this money, and I pay all this money, and I fail, and I fail, and I fail, and I fail. Music has always been there for me, and I've always been great at it. People say that, hey, they try to test me. They say, hey, you know music, right? You know this person? No. Do you know this person? No. You know this person? No. Well, how are you a musician? I also get people say to me, hey, what key is this in? I say, I don't know. Like, well, they say, well, how are you playing? How are you a musician? How do you play so well? I am not the type of person who is book smart or knowledgeable. I don't know things, but I know how to do things. I know how to do things physically in a creative way. I'm not the type of person who retains things and hold on to things, who can read a book and then take a test, pass it, and go on.
I mean, I think a lot of guys are in the same kind of boat, right? They're sick of being stuck in classrooms, being told what to do. It's hard to focus. I can certainly understand this. I think most dudes have the capability of finishing these things, but I see where this guy is coming from. A lot of these schooling institutions, they just want you to sit there for like hours upon hours in a classroom listening to some muppet teach you about something that you don't really need to be understanding, and then they test you on it, and you obviously don't care about what's being taught anyway. You know, and how can you? A lot of the times, guys, you go to school with like a passion for a particular thing, you start going to those classes, you'll probably lose passion for it because the teachers are just so uncharismatic, and you will not want to emulate their life in any capacity. I see what this guy is saying. I think a lot of dudes really struggle to sit behind a desk for such a long period of time. I think we as dudes, we should probably be out there actively doing things. I think it's really bad also for young men who are in the schooling system, obviously too. Like, imagine you have a classroom full of young dudes, young men, and what you do is you sit them there, or young boys, you know, in like primary school and things like this, and you just like, you make them sit there for hours behind a desk doing nothing, and then if they're fidgety, well then apparently they need to be medicated and things like this. It is so stupid. I think it's a really bad setup for men in particular. I'll agree with you. I think a lot of guys have the capability of finishing it, but boy do I think it is stupid. I really do. I agree with the guy in the sense that it's stupid.
That's not me. I am a creative-minded person. Anything that involves creativity, I can do, at least to some degree, where people are like, wow, you do it so well. You ever thought about going to school? No, I tried. It doesn't work. So, this is all tying together. I met the parents. They asked me, hey, what do you do for a living? I had to tell them I'm a musician. I couldn't tell them I was a street musician. I am a musician. Then they said, hey, do you have a degree? I said, I don't have a degree. My ex-wife parents did not speak to me for 2 years. And
Yeah, see, this is where you just say, okay, not a problem, peace. I'm out of there. The family clearly doesn't like me. The woman's trying to change me into something different. Why the hell are you there? You know, guys, like, dudes will just put themselves in situations like this. And I just don't... I think dudes, the main problem that men have is just a lack of self-respect and putting themselves in situations that they shouldn't be in.
told her not to marry me because I don't have a degree. What sense does that make? So I give up this YouTube thing. I give up my entrepreneur things. I try to do something that's not innately a part of my strengths at all because I'm thinking I'm in love to do something for somebody to prove something. And this continues on through the marriage. She says, hey, you need to find a hobby. I'm like, oh, let me play Yu-Gi-Oh again. So last December, last year, I start my channel up again. I buy my channel back from Java. Like, oh, she gave me the okay to go into a hobby.
What the hell is this, man? She gave me the okay to have a hobby. This is ridiculous, guys. This I'm sorry, but this is so ridiculous. Like, letting your wife or your girlfriend lead your life like this is so crazy to me, guys. Right? I don't know if I've really mentioned this too much on the channel, right? But I'm a huge fan of video games. Ever since I was a kid, I really enjoy video games. If some woman tries to tell me to stop playing video games, or I've got some guy friend or whatever the hell who tells me to stop video games, I'll be like, that's nice, and I won't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a man. You don't have to accept things that people tell you just because they tell you to do things. I don't like this idea of like, well, I love her, so I have to do what she says. It's like, how about we consider the fact that she's telling you what to do? If she was with you in the beginning, knowing you played Yu-Gi-Oh, then why are you stopping to play Yu-Gi-Oh? And also, this is the classic example, by the way, guys, of women getting with men and then trying to change them and then leaving them when the dude actually does change, by the way. I've been saying this since the beginning of the channel, guys, but oftentimes women will try and get with guys specifically that look difficult to change, you know, really set in their ways, and then the moment she can actually change your behaviors, she just bounces anyway. So, you know, what's the point of even changing the behaviors? I don't understand. It's not like this guy is out here, you know, robbing stores like and things like this, and she's like, wow, you know, this hobby of robbery that you have is probably not healthy for our relationship. That might be a bit different because you can end up in prison. But the man's playing Yu-Gi-Oh, for goodness sake. Yu-Gi-Oh. Again, which if you didn't know, guys, card game. Like, ridiculous.
You know what she said? You're spending too much time playing those cards. It's either the cards or me. She literally said that. I like, you just said I need a hobby, I get into a hobby, and now you said I'm doing it too much. What?
Yeah, again, this is something else about a lot of modern women, guys, is like, what did we watch an episode on recently? It was like men doing, yeah, I think it was just men playing video games, and women were getting pissed off about it. And it's like, it doesn't really matter what the hobby is for a lot of these girls, unfortunately. They'll just be mad at you if your attention goes away from them. I don't think it matters if it's video games. I don't think it matters if it's like, you know, painting miniatures. I don't think it really matters what the hobby is. It's just because the attention is going elsewhere.
What is it? What do I do? She says, why are you into those cards so much? I said, hey, I need to make a video about something. And I haven't played this card game for 2 years, on and off. How can I make a video for my subscribers about something I have no knowledge of? And I try to explain it to her, but she don't get it. She thinks it's just cards you pick up and you just play like Uno. It's not that way. Every 3 months a new set come out, new stuff come out. I can't make a video about something if I don't know what it's about. I can't start my channel back up and just start making videos. I have to be in it. I have to learn about it and learn what's going on. So she hated those cards. She literally cried because of those cards. And people say, hey, priorities, man. It's your wife, or, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But
Yeah, I strongly dislike this stuff, guys, of like, you know, happy wife, happy life. You have to give up a whole bunch of crap if you want to have a wife or a girlfriend or things like this. And my thoughts are always, okay, what's the point of having the girlfriend or the wife in the first place if she tries to change you in the things that you're interested in? Again, guys, imagine if dudes were walking around and they were like, you know what, I think it's time that the women gave up makeup, for example, or I think it's time that they gave up watching TikTok on their phones, or whatever the case may be, or, you know, whatever hobby that the woman might be interested in, okay? Maybe she's interested in cooking or something like this. I don't know why the hell you would ever try and make a woman give up cooking, by the way. I think a lot of dudes absolutely love when women cook for them. But you see my point. Imagine if dudes were walking around trying to get women to give up their hobbies. Everyone would be like, you know what people would say about that, by the way? People would say that the men are insecure and controlling. You know that. If I went out there, and, you know, or dudes in general, maybe some dude who's got a wife, okay, and he's got his wife, I don't know, her name's Cheryl, and Cheryl's really interested into collecting something, okay, and he says to Cheryl, hey, you need to give this up. It's either me or your little hobby here. And Cheryl goes out and tells people, what's going to happen is that man is going to be crucified by everybody. He's controlling, he's manipulative, he's this, he's that kind of thing. Even though, you know what I'm saying, guys? Like, you reverse the situation and it's completely insane. Why in the hell would you get with somebody who does something that you don't like in the first place, guys? This is why, you know what, this is a great example, for example, why a lot of dudes don't get into relationships with women who work on poles, for example. You know why they don't do that? I mean, there's many reasons. But because they don't want a girlfriend or a wife who works on a pole. you know what I mean? It's so obvious, guys. But women will get into these relationships knowing full well what the dudes do and then try and change them. I have issues with both people, to be honest. I don't think the men should be changing for the woman. Certainly not in that capacity. And I don't think the women should be trying to change the dudes.
then I'll be back at that point where I'm giving up things that I like, things that's a part of my life for someone else to feel happy.
I didn't come to negotiate.
And I feel miserable in the process. I'm sitting there watching all these YouTubers come out and make videos and do all this stuff. They're traveling. I'm like, that's what I used to do. I love that. I miss that. Why can't she come along with my journey instead of scrutinizing me? And then that's money gone from me.
Yeah, see, and this guy probably made money from doing that too. You know, if he's traveling off of it and things like this, huge congratulations to him for making that work, right? But again, he's sitting there and he's like, you know, why can't the woman follow my lead? Why can't we just do this? This is what I used to do. It was working well and things like this. And my question is this. My question is why, you know, not why would the woman not do this? It's why would you choose a woman who wouldn't do this with you in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point of being with a woman or getting with a woman who doesn't even like, you know, your hobby? I don't understand this, guys. I think dudes do a lot of this stuff to themselves. They really do. This is like kind of like the equivalent of, you know, what's it called? Women chasing very attractive men, getting no relationship out of them and just having intimacy with them, right? And then they're complaining and they're like, he used me for intimacy. It's like, yeah, maybe don't give him up the intimacy. It's like obviously the man's going to use you for intimacy. I don't know why you're giving your body to him in the first place. Like, why men and women sacrifice? People in general just chase things that have no interest in them. They don't care about you. This woman that probably does not really care about this guy at all. And yet he sacrificed a lot for her. I don't know why the hell he would do that.
Not about the money, but that was money gone from me. Then street performing. I said to her, hey, I don't want to move away from Baltimore. You may be thinking, why? That's where my home base is. My gigs, my performances, everything. Keep in mind, I didn't have a job. Like, when I say I don't have a job, like a real job. A real job is, you know, going in 9 to 5. I didn't have a real job for over 10 years. It was YouTube and playing my horn. That's how I paid all my bills.
And you know what? Shout out to this guy. If he was able to do that through those things, I think that's, huge congratulations to him. Most people can't do that, right? And so what did he do? He gave away his capability of making an income, by the way, in order to go out here, waste money going to school in all likelihood, for something he probably didn't care about.
He let himself be controlled by that woman.
It's like all the logic just goes out the window.
So when we got married and we moved out to Baltimore to somewhere else that I didn't want to be, she said, "Hey, how come you're not paying the bills?" And I was like, "What? I have a job. I have a 9-to-5 job.
It's okay, brother.
I don't make enough from this 9-to-5 job to pay all these bills. Before then, I could street performing in YouTube. I made enough money off of that to pay the bills. Now I'm working 9 to 5 all day long, and that's not a complaint because there are people who do that. But I had something that most people wish they had. Most people wish they can go out, make some money, pay their bills, and have all day off. That was a gift. That was something that I had. Now, you can take this video as me complaining, crying, I messed up. It is all of that. It is true. I am complaining. I am hurt. I made some mistakes. I did some dumb things. And
you know what? I really appreciate in this video, though, that this guy understands that he fundamentally made mistakes, I'd be a lot more worried if this guy made this video and he didn't understand that he shouldn't have done the things that he did. That's the thing. If you make a mistake once, right, it's like I'm not nearly going to roast you as much. But if you keep making the same damn mistake, I think it's pretty damn silly, But if this guy walks out of this situation and he goes, you know what, I was a complete dumbass. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have gave up the things that I cared about, that I was passionate about. I shouldn't have compromised my finances and things like this, and probably his mental health too, to be honest, if he's giving up the things that he really cared about. If he understands that that was a terrible idea, that's enough for me. But I think a lot of guys, they do this stuff to themselves multiple times consecutively. They go out there, they completely ruin themselves, they make a series of bad decisions, and then they don't learn from it. But as long as this guy's understanding that he did something really stupid, then that's totally fine. I don't make this video to roast this guy. He's probably a chill dude,
You're right. It is my fault. I chose to sell my channel. I chose to give up this thing, not realizing, say, you know what?
So this guy screwed me.
This is my YouTube channel. This is my life. You can't come into my life and dictate to me and tell me what's better for me because you don't see it from my perspective. And then get mad at me when I lose all of those things that I can't do, and I can't do what you think I should do. I've never been that way. It's like you're trying to tell me to walk or run a lap or a race with no legs. You're trying to tell me to do something that I innately just cannot do. And when I say I can't do that, it's just an excuse. So I'm moving out. In 2 weeks I'll be moving out. I'll have my own place again. I'm starting my life over. And you guys know I couldn't make videos when in the house. The only time I can make YouTube videos is when she's gone.
Bad woman.
And you might be thinking, well, why is that?
Bad woman.
She would come in here from her room and say, hey, you're too loud.
She just had to have a fucking...
I can't handle this, man. Opinion. I can't handle this. It's like, yeah, obviously. Christ, no. She can't even let him do these things in peace, by the way. Yeah, this guy's probably going to end up a lot happier when he's just completely left this area. If he can go back to where he was street performing, get his setup going again, he's probably going to end up a lot happier than he is in this particular marriage.
Shit.
Hey, I'm trying to read.
As bad as when,
like, wait, what?
Mom.
I gotta talk. I gotta make a video.
Always on my ass for nothing.
I'm disturbing her.
Fucking with me. Wouldn't let me have a moment of peace. Damn, that was
And yes, I'm venting and I'm ranting. If you stayed this long, thank you. If you didn't, it's okay. But I needed to get this off my chest because it was brewing. I am deeply hurt. And I hurt myself. I don't blame her at all. Everything that I've chosen to do is because I wanted to do it. I wanted to make someone happy. I thought I can be that person for someone else, and I thought I can do it. I thought I can get away from YouTube and Yu-Gi-Oh! And street performing. I thought I can go back to school and pass and get a real job and make some good money to pay all my bills. I thought I could be that man who could do those things.
Isn't it funny, by the way? Let's just think about this for a second. This guy seemed like he fully well had the capability of providing for her, but of course it just wasn't up to her standards. You know, it's like, oh yeah, well, it kind of reminds me about the treatment that people like plumbers get. You can be a dude and you can be a plumber and you can make a crap load of money, right? You can be really good at your job, have a business going, that sort of thing, and you can be a plumber. But for a lot of modern women, it's not good enough for them because you don't have a glamorous position. Being a plumber isn't something like, oh, I married John and John's a lawyer, or he's like I don't know, whatever the hell, right? It's not a glamorous position. And so women want you to change your position, even though it works perfectly fine, and it might be something that you are good at. It's so ridiculous. And then dudes agree to this stuff, man. The lack of self-respect. Yeah, okay, no problem. I'll do this. Even though it's completely damaging to their financial situation, it's completely damaging to their mental health because they probably like what it is that they're doing. They're probably in that particular thing for a reason, And I don't like, I've said this on the channel many times, but the lack of self-respect that I think a lot of guys have for themselves because they don't want to be alone. But I think what a lot of guys eventually understand is that you are honestly better off just being by yourself if you are in positions like this. Like, the woman clearly doesn't give a damn. Like, let's be real about it. I don't mean to be rude again, but the women in these situations oftentimes don't care about the men.
But the truth is, I have special gifts and talents that other people wish they had to be able to pay and make money and do things in ways people wish they could. It's ironic, isn't it? It's ironic that I wish that I can go to school and work a 9-to-5 job all day long to pay all my bills. It's ironic that I want to do what people hate to do.
Just by the way, I think if this guy were to go out there and actually do these things, by the way, I still think the woman wouldn't like him, and the woman would still be annoying as hell and have all sorts of issues with it. Again, it's just a constant battle to try and change the guy. That's what it really is.
They hate to go in and live a mundane life. They hate that. And they want to have their own business. They want to make their own money. They want to have their free time. I had that. Literally, I would work 3 hours a day, and have enough at the end of the month to pay all my bills and do whatever I need and travel. But that wasn't good enough for the person I was with.
She really fucked.
It wasn't secured enough.
He got.
What if really you didn't make enough? Was the question.
Dumb bitch. It's some woman.
What about medical bills? What about this? What about that? What about retirement? What about all the stuff?
She's crazy.
Yeah, maybe we could bump it up from 3 hours a day. I don't know. Like, if this guy is working 3 hours a day doing his street performing and his YouTube or whatever, and he was able to pay the bills, it's like, and she's making up all these what if scenarios, then I'm sure he'd be happy to play some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever it is that he's doing. It's just so stupid, guys. Again, I think it's not necessarily what it is that you're doing. I just think a lot of women oftentimes have a vendetta to try and change the guy. And when they can change the guy, they just end up leaving him. I think it's a very bad strategy and something very bad for men to agree to. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, do not forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. What do you think about this particular story? Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, last time I came to this map, I was running around in all the wrong areas and getting lost and shit. It was amazing. You okay, brother? It's okay, brother. You're not still hungry, are you, brother? My boy's over here meowing. What are you meowing for, brother? I just fed you. You should be fine.
Vehicle pads are currently open for business. Have a safe and pleasant stay.
Anyway, that was Taylor the Fiend. They're my favorite masculine dudes. And then we're going to do another Taylor the Fiend.
What is going on, guys? Got an absolutely ridiculous video for you here today where we're going to be covering a series of clips. But the first one of those clips is a woman who is homeless, apparently, going around and basically trying to shack up with random dudes so that she has somewhere to live. Now, this is probably done for views. I don't really know, but it is completely damn stupid. Let's jump right in. As always, guys, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments.
Day 9-ish of being homeless. I just left one of my boyfriend's places. He said I can't stay again tonight because he has shit to do, whatever that means. It's just kind of drying up for me. Everyone's like pissing me off. They're being rude about the fact that I'm homeless. So I'm gonna go to Burley, go for a hot girl walk. I've done my makeup just to walk, and I'm gonna go ask every hot guy for their number and then see if I can find a place to sleep tonight. Otherwise, I'm sleeping in my car, which is fine. This is comfy as fuck. Not complaining at all.
Women live in a completely different reality.
I mean, of course they do, because dudes are willing to hand them free crap, right? And women are not going to turn this down. So you have this woman who is homeless. She's been homeless for 9 days. And by the way, apparently we as men, we're being a-holes, you know, for not letting her sleep in our houses. With, you know, how crazy is that, by the way? The level of entitlement you have to have in order to make a video like this. But of course it's vastly different. If you're a dude and you're in the same situation, people aren't going to give a damn. They're not going to give you a place to sleep simply because you need one, okay? I think that's reflected in the homeless people statistic. Obviously, the majority of them are men. But of course, we don't ever talk about that when we talk about equality, do we, guys? It's no, let's get women into CEO positions. But of course, those same people saying that nonsense don't really care that the male unaliving rates are higher. There's more homeless dudes, more dudes pass away in things like wars. We don't ever talk about those things, do we? But let's carry on.
Place to sleep tonight. Otherwise, I'm sleeping in my car, which is fine. This is comfy as fuck. Not complaining at all.
Women live in a completely different reality to men. Seriously, in your darkest hours, you have probably done the thought experiment of wondering how you would survive if you were homeless. Did you ever think to yourself, oh, it's fine, I'll just stay at one of my numerous girlfriends' houses, problem solved? Yeah, it turns out for men, the solution isn't that easy. This reminds me of that meme, 1 in 4 homeless people are women. That's a weird way of saying 75% of homeless people are men. The truth is that your status as a homeless woman is much higher than that of a homeless man.
Yeah, and so the reason for this is nobody cares if the woman doesn't have a job. The woman's status is not tied to, well, how much money does she make and what position does she hold and how useful is she typically, like in a societal context, right? A dude is not going to turn down a woman because she works at McDonald's, for example. If she's a great woman, she's super kind, she's pleasant to be around, you know, maybe she knows how to cook really well and things like this, the dude is not going to care where the hell she works or what she does. But if you're a dude and you're like in your 30s and you're working at McDonald's or something like this, obviously women, for the most part, are not going to look your way, unless you're a giga chad. But even then, you know, long-term relationships might be a bit of a struggle because women will need to go out there and secure some simp to pay the bills, right? If you can't do that, then, you know, long-term relationship, maybe you'll get kicked to the curb. I mean, they'll still probably hook up with you, but they need a simp to pay the bills, is my point. But yeah, women's social status is not linked to what position they hold or how much money they have or whether, hell, even whether or not they have a place to live for the most part. I think that's the reason why.
The truth is that your status as a homeless woman is much higher than that of a homeless man. And that's not just because the culture at large values female life so much higher than it does male life. It's
I mean, it does, but
because female suffering is seen as a societal problem to fix. But male suffering, well, that's up to the individual. He needs to fix it himself. There is no equivalence between a broke woman and a broke man. If you're like this woman, it doesn't matter if you're broke and homeless. You can still confidently approach hot guys and find somewhere to sleep that night.
And just by the way, this is what really off-puts, I think, a lot of dudes when they're being approached by women is usually it's for some... If the woman is doing that, she's usually in some very bad position, right? She's usually trying to do something. Is she recording me? Is she trying to steal from me? What is it that this woman is doing, and why is she approaching me in the first place? I think a lot of dudes will have this line of thinking, even if they're attractive a lot of the time, because it's like, there's obviously some agenda here. Now, I'm not saying there isn't an agenda when men approach women. Obviously there is. But let's not pretend like there isn't one going the other way around as well.
But if you're a broke and homeless man, you're out of options. Women are not going to come to your rescue. Sadly, the attitude from so many of these modern women is that if you're not spending money on them, then they see no value in you. Observe this fight that broke out when a boyfriend refused to pick up a $4,600 restaurant check. His girlfriend invited 18 of her friends, and she never told him that she expected him to pay.
Birthday, like you really just should have paid for all of our food.
For one, I'm not paying for everybody's food. It's your birthday, cool, but I'm not doing that. It's 18.
Why do you gotta pay for all y'all food though?
You brought 18 friends. I'm finna leave you. You staying here with them or you coming with me?
Nobody wants a broke man. She's telling the truth. So
let's go back to this for a second, right? Look at the girlfriends like backing her up, by the way. I don't know if you saw, but the woman directly behind her in this part here, you know, she was like, ooh, you know, pulling the facial expressions, and there was some slight boos, I believe, in the background because the dude didn't want to pay money. How much was this? $4,600 to pay for 16 or 18 of her friends that she invited to this particular event. Wow. Like, what in the hell is this? And of course, the dude is in the wrong position, apparently, because he didn't pay. This is so damn ridiculous, guys. You know, dudes being required, apparently, to just... He probably doesn't even know all of these people. This dude probably doesn't even remember the names of 18 individuals, let alone this woman's quote-unquote friends. But apparently he's the bad guy. I mean, it's so stupid, guys. I'll agree with Alexander here, man. A lot of people, if you're a dude and you don't have something going for you, nobody cares. You know, nobody's going to be picking up your phone calls, or at least not as easily. Maybe you know a couple of friends, a couple of mates for like many years, and they might answer your phone calls. But what I'm trying to say here is nobody really cares about your struggles or the things that you're going through. You're going to have to handle them by yourself. You're not some woman, and you can't just rely on sleeping at some random dude's house, or some random woman's house for that matter, just because you don't have money. People are going to look at you like you're crazy. You know, you try and walk up to women and ask to spend the night at their house, I mean, you are going to have the cops called on you pretty damn quickly, I would assume.
18 friends. I'm finna leave you. You staying here with them or you coming with me?
Nobody wants a broke man. She's telling the truth. So many of these women judge the value of a man by the size of his wallet. But do you want to know the real difference between men and women when it comes to money? If a man suddenly becomes wealthy, he thinks, this is amazing. Now I can provide for my wife so that she doesn't need to work. If a woman suddenly becomes wealthy, she thinks, this is amazing. Now I don't need a man. If you give money to a man, his impulse is to share it, to support his wife, to provide for her. If you give money to a woman, her impulse is selfish, to keep it to herself. That's a big claim, Alexander. You better have some hard data to back that up. Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Last year in Sweden, they did a study called Fortunate Families, the Effects of Wealth on Marriage and Fertility. They were studying what effects winning the lottery had on people's relationships for men and for women, and the results are fascinating. Actually, first, let's talk about what happens to men if they win the lottery. In the subsample of male winners, all point estimates suggest that windfalls stabilize marriages. A 1 million Swedish krona windfall reduces the probability of divorce by 6 percentage points, equivalent to a 40% reduction in relative risk. A man
Yeah, of course, because when the dude gets all the money, she thinks to herself, especially if she hasn't reached like a certain time period where she thinks that she can walk away with that particular money, or she doesn't think that she can get it out of him through the courts, she's going to want to stay because she's going to want to benefit from that money as well.
And gets a bunch of money and it stabilizes the marriage. It reduces the likelihood of divorce. In the female subsample, the pattern is strikingly different. Married women who win the lottery are more likely to get divorced in the short run. Our estimate suggests a 1 million Swedish krona windfall effectively doubles the short run risk of divorce. You can see that getting money gives men and women the opposite impulse. Men move towards providing, women move towards hoarding.
Yeah, and let's be honest, the majority of these divorces are, again, initiated by the women. It's not the dudes who are going, hey, I just saw that she won a bunch of money, it's time for me to leave her, because I think I can get this money through the courts. Let's be real about it, guys. Men have a very difficult time through the divorce courts. Usually the dudes are the ones getting completely screwed over. So what's happening here is the women they're getting the money, and then they're bouncing. They're like, well, I don't need this dude anymore. So I'm just going to leave the situation. I'm going to leave the marriage, and I'm just going to peace out with my bag, as it were.
Let's look at the graphs. Okay, let's look at this one first. Marriage formation. Look how different the genders are. When a man becomes wealthy, his desire to get married and provide shoots up. His marriage is stabilized. But when a woman becomes wealthy, she bails. This also has an effect on fertility. When a man becomes wealthy, there's a huge increase. They want to have children. They want to use that money to create offspring. Whereas for women, it basically makes no difference. Now let's look at a different study. This one is on the impact that getting a promotion at work has on your marriage, and the results are the same. For men, when they get a promotion, when they become more wealthy, you can see that they are more likely to remain married. But for a woman, her getting a promotion means that she is more likely to seek divorce.
And you know what, guys? I would 100% believe that, to be honest with you. I've seen this many times where like a dude will work in a field, or he'll work in a particular job, and then he loses that job. And then for some unbeknownst, unrelated reason, guys, that is left up to the cosmos, the woman just leaves. It's not him, it's her. And they just weren't connecting on that deeper level, or they were drifting apart, or some garbage like that. I don't know. I haven't rehearsed the script, as it were. But for whatever reason, she just happens to bounce. Okay, I've also heard a lot of stories of dudes. Not necessarily losing their jobs, but getting injured on those particular jobs, and so they have to be out of work for X period of time. I've heard dudes like break limbs and so on, and then it's like, oh well, she could provide, but she doesn't really want to, and so she bounces again. Okay, like let's be real about this, guys. Women are not out here providing for dudes, especially on a long-term basis. Now, you might have women who are like hitting their 30s and they're like, damn, I really got to have kids, so I've got all this money, why don't I try and get some guy to quickly rush out some kids with? Then she'll provide for that guy on a short-term basis, but she'll probably end up leaving him anyway. And the other situation is where you have the women who are dating chads, right? They're dating the dudes who are really attractive. And so they'll pay for things on the short term. They'll take him out to lunch. They'll buy him the drinks at the bars and all of these sorts of things. But again, it's not going to happen on a long-term basis, particularly in things like marriages. Women just do not provide for guys on a long-term basis at all. They might do it here and there if they think that you're attractive, or if they need to have kids because their fertility is running out. But if you think you're going to get looked after in this capacity, it's not happening, man. It's simply not happening.
Men share their money, women hoard it. Now, isn't it interesting that men are constantly shamed and criticized? Like, men are so pathetic that they can't handle a woman who has her own money. They're threatened by her success, their ego's so fragile. Why can't men handle being with a woman who makes more money than he does?
I mean, let's pause it right here. The truth of the matter is most dudes don't give a damn. It has nothing to do with feeling emasculated. It has nothing to do with feeling intimidated. Men do not give a damn how much money you earn. Now, men might care how you got that money. If you're like a spicy content creator online, of course dudes are not going to want to date you. But to be honest, that doesn't have anything to do with the money. It has to do with what kind of actions you're actually doing to get that money. I've heard this so many times, man. Oh, you're just insecure, or you can't handle a boss woman. It's like, why the hell do I want to date these women, guys? You know, like, we don't want to date you because you're a pain in the ass. It has nothing to do with how much money you generate, and everything to do with the fact that you become incredibly unpleasant when you earn a lot of money. Yeah, hell, it doesn't even require a lot of money, by the way. It just requires more than whatever the dude's making, and then, of course, she'll make herself a complete headache, and she won't respect the guy anymore. You know? How many times, guys, have you seen on this channel, right? I will pull up a video, and a woman will say, you know, I don't want to settle. I bring a lot to the table. And they're like, yeah, I've got this nice career. I've got my businesses. And let's just assume that they're not completely lying and they are actually making some money. Men do not care. I don't know how many times I have to say this, guys. I mean, probably indefinitely. Let's be honest. The women oftentimes don't listen to this. But dudes are not looking at your wallet. They're really, really not.
You know, I think that men, they just want to control women. They want to have all the money so that the woman is dependent upon them. These are bullshit, sexist lies that blame men to distract you from the real issue at play here, which is, why are women so selfish with their money? Why are they so happy to take? Why do they feel so righteously entitled to a man's money, and yet if some good fortune happens to them and they suddenly become wealthy, there's no instinct from them to share?
You know what, guys? I've actually grown past the point of even giving a damn, to be honest. Like, if these women want to get on here and act super entitled to a man's money and they want to behave this certain way, at the end of the day, they're really just screwing themselves over because the men aren't going to want them anymore. As long as, here's the thing, guys, if I don't have to talk to these individuals, if I'm not forced to date them, I don't care. Show everybody your true colors. Go out there, make these videos, complain that men are not giving you money, say how you deserve money. I don't care. It just weeds you out because it makes you look ridiculous.
Really is a disgusting aspect of female psychology, and sadly, it's widespread.
And he took me in, he put me into nursing school, he got my hair, nails, everything done. So he up here on this level, I'm down here on this level. You get where I'm going? He got me up here with him because he was making good money. But then he ended up losing his job 2 years ago. Lost his job, and now he broke. What did I do? Broke up with him and got on because I'm not finna take care of no grown man. I'm not doing.
And there it is. I think a lot of women are not really prepared to say this because they don't want to look bad on camera. But here it is, you know? I don't want to look after him. He's a grown man. But apparently dudes are supposed to look after you because, I don't know, you're a grown woman. Like, my goodness, man. I think Alexander Grace is really correct here, by the way, when he says, you know, you're going to be accused of things, right? If you're a dude and you leave a woman for whatever reason, you're going to be called like controlling, shaming language is going to be used against you, and so on and so forth, right? We've all seen this. But when women leave your ass, it's like, oh yeah, you go, queen. You know, he was dirt. You deserve better. Go out there and find a man who's better. But yeah, of course you left him. Of course, to be honest, this is what a lot of modern women do. They just leave you. It's not really about love. It's not really about caring for you. Gone are the days where you'll hear those stories from your grandparents and other people's grandparents where the woman got with him when they were like 18 and he was completely broke and he only got wealthy in his 30s. Maybe he never even became wealthy and she is still there by his side. Oftentimes gone are those days, guys, really. It's like if the man doesn't make X amount of money per year or per month or whatever it is, she just won't be there in the first place.
I mean, didn't feminism fight for equality? For men and women being treated equally? No, that was all lies. They just wanted privilege. So you know what? We need to stop shaming men for wanting to earn more than their partners, as though that's some defect in men. There is a defect here, but it's in women. When a man says, I want to make more money than my wife, it's because he has noticed that women are attracted to men who make more money than them.
I mean, not only that, he probably realizes that, hey, if he doesn't earn the money, the woman's just going to leave him anyway. You know, dudes are actively punished for being in this position. You're not doing enough, she'll just replace you with some dude on a dating application. You don't make enough money, you're not a real man. And so, you know, like, dudes just get thrown out over this stuff. Again, doesn't matter if you get injured and it's not your fault. Doesn't matter if the company gets rid of you because they're doing layoffs, even though you're actually quite useful in the company. The excuse doesn't matter. The end result is, hey, dude's not making money. I'm going to go find a different man.
It appeals to their hypergamy, and he knows that if he wants to retain the attraction of his wife, this is how it needs to be. He's also noticed that if a woman has more money than her husband, then the marriage is less stable. And why?
I would also argue, by the way, that these women are not attracted to you. The women who are with you because of your ability to provide, they're not with you because they're like physically attracted to you. Oftentimes what women do, especially if they've been with a whole bunch of guys, by the way, they've got, they've been with like 10 different dudes, and then they settle down to get married. Oftentimes what happens is they have that one dude who's providing for them, i.e. the husband, and then they'll go on to cheat with him, with the dude that she's actually attracted to. Because again, the women are not actually attracted to you. You're a wallet. You're essentially just an ATM where you are required to pay for things, and if you don't, then she bounces. But like, let's not get it twisted here. The women are not attracted to you. You know, they'll have a long-term relationship with you because they're getting all the benefits. They get all their crap paid. But I think that's different from actually being attracted to you. They're attracted to the money. They're not attracted to you, so to speak.
Why would he want an unstable marriage? She's more likely to seek divorce. She's also less likely to want children. Plus, there's this frighteningly common female attitude.
Our money is our money, but her money is her money, right? She's earning for herself.
Man, you have to understand all of the propaganda that you have been fed, how women are kind, compassionate, generous. It's in female nature to nurture and to take care of people. None of that applies to you.
And you know what? I strongly agree with that, guys. You know, you could make a case that women do the nurturing and this and that, but it's for the dudes that they're highly attracted to. You know, they'll bend over backwards to do all sorts of different things for the men that they're highly attracted to. That, you know, the husband, for example, wants to go golfing on the weekend, and she has a problem with it. You see what I'm saying, guys? It's like all of the rules are completely broken for the men that they find attractive. All of the rules are created and enforced for the men that they don't find attractive. Right? It's ridiculous to me, guys. I've literally heard stories of really successful men and their wives just boss them around and treat them like crap. You know, and they know that the dude can't leave because he's going to lose a whole bunch of money and probably kids in the process if they have any, and they still have, if the kids are still in the house. Like, the dude loses absolutely everything. Women don't stand to lose crap when they divorce a lot of the times. Now, some of them do lose it, and when they lose it, they post on social media, and it's very funny, and I don't empathize with it. But, these successful guys, man, putting up with way too much nonsense. Absolutely.
He does not see it as her role to take care of men. Women are hypergamous, which means they only date men that they feel are superior to them. They feel like that is the natural order of things. Women like to feel like men are superior. That's why they can't bring themselves to date a man who makes less money than her, who's shorter than her, who's less intelligent. She wants to be the weaker one in the relationship. She wants her man to be stronger and more capable than she is.
And you know what? People will probably sit here. You'll have womanists who will call this, they'll be like, oh, you don't like women. They'll probably say this to Alexander Grace, oh, you don't like women. You're only saying this because you're an incel and all of these sorts of things. And he'll probably get insulted a lot. And then what do those same women do? They'll go out here and they'll do exactly what Alexander is saying. They'll go out there, they will chase the tall men. They will chase the men with a lot of money. They will chase the guys who are quite honestly more intelligent than them. They will do everything that Alexander describes in this video, but then they will turn around and insult him and call him names. That's the funniest part about this content, guys, is you can be 100% accurate, and it can be totally reflected in reality of what happens, but people will still be like, yeah, you know what? You're an incel, you don't get laid. It's like, okay, man, okay. What on earth?
Idea of her paying for her man, providing for him, that fills her with disgust. It feels unnatural to her. Why, after winning the lottery or getting a promotion at work, are these women divorcing their husbands? It's because now that she has more money, the arrangement feels unnatural to her. And as stupid as it is, I would respect feminism if it had some consistency to it. Like if they said, women are equal to men, we're going to treat everyone equally, and then they actually stuck to that ideal. Men, you do 50% 50% of the housework, 50% of the childcare, and I, the woman, will provide 50% of the paycheck. Like, I would think that that's moronic because it goes against biology. There's a much more sensible division of labor based on each gender's inherent strengths and weaknesses. But if you sincerely applied that equality, I would at least respect the integrity of it. But
You know what? I agree with Alexander here, but it's never going to happen. You know, like, the thing is, in order for womanists to do this, then they would have to give up the privileges that they have. But they're not going to do this. There is no consistency to this. It's not about equality. It's not about equal footing and making sure that things are fair. It's about making sure that women retain as much advantage as possible, and the men have to do absolutely everything. You know, pay all my bills, but also I bring nothing to the relationship. And if I have money, if I have the capability to pay the bills, and you're staying at home and actually doing things, then you know what? I'm out. I'm leaving. This isn't fair. Right? So if you were to take a woman and put her in the same situation as dudes, she just would leave, guys. It's like, wait a minute, I have to go out there and work really hard and make money, and then after that I have to spend it on somebody who's not myself because I care about them? Oh no, hell no, I'm leaving. I'm going to go find a man with money. They're not going to be consistent. And also, by the way, this is why non-heterosexual relationships, specifically women, typically fail, is because if you have two women who are in relation, have you guys seen the divorce statistics for women who are with women, by the way? It's the worst of any, what's it called? Any permutation of genders there are. Man and a woman, divorce rates are obviously pretty high. Man and a man is lower. Woman and woman, the absolute highest. It's because none of them want to provide for the other person, guys, realistically. If you look at some of the stats behind that, it is very damn funny. It's like, wait, you mean to tell me that I have to maybe be the one paying the bills? Oh, hell no. I'm leaving you, Sandy. And that's exactly what happens, guys. Now, not every single one is going to end in divorce and separation and things like this, but let me tell you, the statistics are a lot higher for women who are with women because neither of them want to do the man's traditional role.
Modern feminism is so foul and odious. It feels entitled to these disgraceful double standards that privilege women and take advantage of men. I have much more respect for women like this.
We women have to be honest with ourselves about a few things, which is, right now, women, if you make a certain amount of money, we do not date men that do not make the same amount of money or more than us. Women on average actually do not want to. And so we have this conundrum where if women are making more...
What a real conundrum, you know?
Men are making the same, and in some instances less. What happens to the dating pool? And so I think women, if we're going to make more money, we got to start saying, it doesn't really matter if our partner makes the same amount of money. I mean, Chris, my husband, was a Navy SEAL. Spoiler, the government doesn't pay well. So I made more than he did in the beginning, but his compass was never money. His compass was service and excellence. Your bank account has no ability to hurt a man one way or the other. But if you make him feel less than for the amount of money that he's making, even not on purpose, I'm sure she's lovely, then certainly you can. But I think that's where women get it wrong. We're like, he doesn't want to date me because I'm too rich. I have never in my life met a guy that goes, the thing is, she's got too much cash. Fuck that broad. Like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I've never heard a dude say that in my life either. Not only have I never thought that in my entire life, I don't know a single dude who has gone out there and said to himself, you know what, she's a great woman, but you know, she's just too successful. She makes too much money for me, so that's a real issue. I don't know any dude who's said that. I don't know any dude who's, you know, even remotely thought that. Being a man myself, I would assume not. It's completely ridiculous. Now, I will say this, guys. I think that these womanists should lie in the bed that they made, to be honest with you. And let's be real, none of them are going to do this. None of them are going to take on the provider positions, even if they earn all the money. They're simply not going to do it unless their biology absolutely demands. You know, if they have to get a kid out within the next couple of years or they're not going to be able to have some, then she might go, okay, let me just look after this guy for as short a period of time as I possibly can. I'll have the kids, and then I'll ditch his ass. But they're not going to do this. And by the way, I don't think they should, because I would rather these women just be completely weeded out, to be honest with you. I don't think any dude wants to date these girls who are just actively like this, these womanists and things like this. Just screw off, man. You know, you made your bed, now lie in it. But guys, I think we are going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Do you guys find this interesting? Do you find it funny? Do you find it sad? let me know down below.
sad.
As always, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.
I don't mean to intrude, but I need your help.
You seek the ritual of mind healing. It is forbidden. I sense your disease, the cost of deception. I will not help. Forbidden.
You will teach me the ritual.
I will teach you the ritual. In the dark heart of the Nightmare Lands, there is a dream rock. The rock turns nightmares to flesh.
What's the Dark Heart, and the Nightmare Lands, and the Dream Rock?
The Nightmare Lands is the corruption. The dark heart is the darkest place where the dream rock is. The dream rock is the dream rock. There is nothing like it. The nightmares are the disease. Defeat the nightmares, defeat the disease. A Gormak must go.
Gormak seem to be everywhere.
Not the Gormak.
Where do I find a dream?
Wow. I force persuaded that ghost to give me the
My
information I
lord,
needed.
the boss are trying to force
That's
me
amazing.
off the planet. Their commandos are destroyed.
I'll be there in bottom.
Thank you. That's 20.
Wow. I remember some of this scenario from the first time I made a Sith Inquisitor, but it's been so long. Oh. We're an hour and 7 minutes. That was interesting. You know, that's just the way it is with the dynamic of women. A woman is always concerned about the material. And if a man can't provide, as far as she's concerned, he is not a man. And that's sad because we don't have control over the economy. We don't have control over a lot of things down here. I'm in my job for 6 years because it's been a secure position and I could do it. And I'm work from home, so my job got a lot easier. I don't have to go into work anymore. So I save a lot of money on my car wear and tear. And I don't save a lot of money because the prices went up. All the prices went up, and all that extra money I would save, like $300 a month, maybe $400 if I was real cheap, doesn't get saved anymore. It goes to just buying stuff, services. I've had to reduce costs. Like I paid $85 for internet from Spectrum, just $85, and I'm going to switch up to Google Fiber for $30, so that'll save me $50. So by next month, I'll be saving money on that Google Fiber. But I don't want to change. I have to change. You know. Same thing with auto insurance. I mean the apartment complex stopped paying for the insurance for the apartment. So I had to go get a separate insurance with my insurance, and I have auto and the apartment insurance on one bill. Well, not one bill, it's two separate bills, but under one company, under Farmers. And I had to do that because they changed their policy. They got cheap, you know. I go out and I buy the healthiest cheap food I can, and I just live with it. And I don't really eat out very much. Every once in a while, if I have a little bit of money, I'll maybe go out and get some fast food. But I'll get the stuff that's healthier for me. Like I'll get some chicken, or I'll get, maybe some of those tacos. If my number's low, if I'm really able to eat it, I'll get some tacos like from Taco Bell. I like those crunchy Supreme tacos. That's my thing. But anyway, I got a guy here. This is 18 minutes. After this, we'll end the video. You won't believe what just happened, Mitch McConnell. I don't know who Mitch McConnell is.
And welcome back to the channel. Dylan here. We have a major bombshell today about Mitch McConnell that you do not want to miss, okay? Growing calls are coming up for him to step down. Trump actually called Mitch McConnell to get fired, and many people now are really concerned with Mitch McConnell, and you will not believe the truth that has just come out about Mitch McConnell, all right? Before we jump in, we're going to read the Bible and pray because God comes first, amen? Comment amen down below if you believe that. Today's Bible reading is Matthew 6:33. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Amen. So comment amen down below, my friends. And now, let's jump into the video. This is breaking news as of today. Mitch McConnell takes indirect swipe at Trump on America's role in the world. America will not be made great again by those who are content to manage our decline. Outgoing Senate GOP leader Mitch McConnell took aim at the isolationist faction of the Republican Party, an implicit swipe at Trump's policies in his speech today, arguing the U.S. must double down on its commitments to alliances and hard military power to maintain its credibility on the international stage. Now, I'm no, political military expert, but what I'm thinking is that Mitch McConnell, what that means to me is he's like, we need to keep funding Ukraine. So he's coming out now all of a sudden and basically slamming Trump. Like, dude, you're 82 years old. People want you to step down. You're having phrases up on stage. What the hell's going on, Mitch? All right, so Donald J. Trump is slamming Mitch McConnell, and he actually called him a broken old crow. He lashed out at the former colleague, former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Luckily, we do have breaking news. Mitch McConnell will not be the Senate Majority Leader. First time we are actually going to be having a good Senate Majority Leader. I believe his name is John Thune. So President Trump actually slammed Mitch McConnell for voting President Joe Biden's $1.2 trillion package. He said this: when the broken old crow Mitch McConnell agreed to a 2-month extension, he allowed the Democrats to get their act together and pass the $1.2 trillion quote-unquote non-infrastructure Green New Deal bill, which is a disaster for America. Its actual cost was over $2 trillion, but the bigger disaster is yet to come in the next much larger version of the Green New Deal, which some people said would be around $5 trillion. President Donald Trump said Mitch McConnell is a fool, and he damn well better stop their dream of communism bill and keep his senators in line, or he should resign now, something he should have done a long time ago. And for some reason, Mitch McConnell is talking crap on Trump. I mean, what the hell's going on?
Know the answer. I think the demonization of Ukraine began by Tucker Carlson, who, in my opinion, ended up where he should have been all along, which is interviewing Vladimir Putin. And so he had an enormous audience, which convinced a lot of rank-and-file Republicans that maybe this was a mistake. I think
he's up here advocating for sending money to Ukraine. He helped pass $95 billion in aid to Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. That's where our hard-earned taxpayer dollars are going. While we have crime on the streets in Los Angeles, New York City, we have so many problems. Homeless veterans can't get medical help. We can't even take care of our own. We're sending money off to fund foreign wars. This is the exact type of guy who we don't need. This is the bureaucratic bull crap, excuse my français, that we need to get rid of. You know who's not afraid to talk crap on McConnell? Is Ted Cruz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Josh Hawley. You can almost tell who are not the people who bow down to lobbyists, because I think if you talk crap on Mitch McConnell, you're not going to get funding anymore. That's my theory. At least Josh Hawley had the balls to come out and say that Mitch McConnell shouldn't be a Republican leader.
In my home state of Missouri, I was asked everywhere I went about Senator McConnell before the most recent incident, and then absolutely afterwards. And I mean everywhere I went. The Missouri State Fair, farmers meetings, business meetings. So my view is that 2024 is an awfully important election for Republicans. We should have taken back the Senate last year. We didn't. This is our shot to take it back, and I just hope we're going to be focused on that.
Do you worry that he's not the right person to bring you guys back to the majority?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I voted against him in December. So yeah, listen, I voted against him as leader. It's not my choice for leader. It hasn't been, and that hasn't changed.
All right, that was extremely classy, but he made it very clear. I voted against him. All right, so now I trust Josh Hawley because he's not afraid to speak out against McConnell. Somebody else who's not afraid is Marjorie Taylor Greene, slamming McConnell. Take a look, listen here.
How many people here, and raise your hand if you believe that Mitch McConnell is a Republican? Raise your hand if he's a Republican. Okay. How many people here?
No hands went up.
Raise your hand if you believe Mitch McConnell is a Democrat. Yeah.
Whoa! Obviously he's not Democrat. Obviously he is Republican. But is Marjorie Taylor Greene, like, is she theorizing that McConnell's like an low-key Democrat, like, at heart?
Oh my goodness. Just like yeah.
Like, not even a rhino, but like a legit Democrat.
So Mitch McConnell, he is a rhino. He's worse than a rhino. He has helped Joe Biden pass his agenda. How many people here
help Joe Biden pass his agenda? That's crazy. I don't know about you, but that's not somebody who I want to be the leader of the Republican Party. Someone who's going to help the Democrats pass their agenda? What's the point? That's not even bipartisan. No one in America should even want that. This is Ted Cruz calling for McConnell to step down. Take a listen.
Is it time for Mitch McConnell to go?
I think it is.
Good.
Look, everyone here also supported a leadership challenge to Mitch McConnell in November.
Good.
I think a Republican leader should actually lead this conference and should advance the priorities of Republicans.
Yes.
Senator Ted Cruz had a press conference around noon today, said that you shouldn't have even tried to negotiate with Democrats, said this bill was designed to fail, and that it's time for you to step down as GOP leader. What's your response to that?
I think we can all agree that Senator Cruz is not a fan.
What the hell is that? Cruz is not a fan. No crud. Dude, it's not a joke, dude. Like, literally, Josh Hawley said, everywhere I go, everyone's asking me about Mitch McConnell. We're asking Mitch McConnell, are you going to step down? Ted Cruz is not a fan. Dude, answer the Americans' questions, buddy. Look at this. Mitch McConnell got booed at the RNC. Take a look at this.
Madam Chairman.
They're booing him.
Commonwealth of Kentucky proudly cast 46 votes for the next president, Donald J. Trump.
He got booed so hard, that put a huge smile on my face. I mean, the signs were always there. This was 10 years ago. Mitch McConnell was even struggling to walk up a stage. Look at this. I mean, come on. 10 years ago, the dude could barely take a step up stage and even get up. Yeah, there's a step there. Yeah, no crud, dude. What a joke. He needs help to walk down a step. 10 years ago. The signs were always there. Why is this guy still a congressman? Look at this. Mitch McConnell appears to freeze during a press conference. Why are our federal taxpayer dollars still funding his career? This is a joke.
After finishing the NDA this week, it's been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
Yeah, he's gone the way of the Alzheimer's.
Anything else you want to say, or should we just go back?
Oh, it looks like my game.
Do you want to say anything else, too?
My game went down.
He goes, anything else you want to say? You want to go to your office? He goes, huh? It's like, these are the people running our country? Give me a break.
Yeah.
I hope to God, for the sake of our country, when Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and RFK Jr. and Trump gets in there, they go, why the hell is Mitch McConnell still calling the shots? This is a joke. I mean, look at this. Mitch McConnell first served as Deputy U.S. Assistant Attorney General under President Gerald freaking Ford from 1974 to 1975. This dude has been working in politics for over 50 freaking years now, buddy. 50 years. Okay, the first 5 years, awesome. 10 years, awesome. 20 years, okay. 30 years, I'm like, all right, you're a career politician. It's time to go. 40 years, no, 50 freaking years. This guy's up here. And he's like been a legit leader in the Republican Party. It's time for him to go. There's 3 other people who have served just basically as long as Mitch McConnell. Number 1 is Chuck Schumer.
Blood,
number 2, Joe Biden. And number 3, your favorite, Nancy Pelosi. All right? It's time for you to go. Just look how loud Mitch McConnell was booed at the RNC. This should tell you something.
Madam Chairman. Madam Chairman.
Boo! The dude can't even talk. It's like he's up there in Congress. It's like, dude, get the memo. People don't want you up there, dude. So Marjorie Taylor Greene again went scorched earth on Mitch McConnell. I love this. We need the public to hear this and actually praise. Well, I don't want to say praise Marjorie Taylor Greene because we should only give praise to God. But I support Marjorie Taylor Greene for speaking the truth. Let's tune in.
How do you feel about Minority Leader Mitch McConnell? I was just trying to be nice. I think Mitch McConnell should retire. No, actually, I'm not really a fan. I think he works across the aisle and he allows things to happen. One of the things that I'm most angry about is he made that infrastructure bill possible. And that is all of his fault because he led 19 senators to pass it. And then that...
Yeah, that's the same one that Trump called McConnell old crow for.
The green light to, unfortunately, 13 unlucky members of the House that I work with, Republicans that voted for that bill too. And so shame on Mitch McConnell. He needs to act like a Republican. I wasn't shy about that answer, was I?
Yeah, shame on Mitch. Shame on you, Mitch. So Mitch McConnell was actually asked if he supports Trump. Let's tune in.
You think Donald Trump can win?
I do.
Are you going to support him?
I know.
Does it cause you pause when you think about how divided this country is and how he is causing such division? I mean, Republicans in your party are burning their voter registration cards. They're saying never Trump.
Well, one thing I'm pretty calm about is that this is nowhere near the most divisive period in American history. But what protects us in this country against big mistakes being made is the structure, the Constitution, the institutions. No matter how unusual a personality may be who gets elected to office, there are constraints in this country. You don't get to do anything you want to. So I'm very optimistic about America. I'm not depressed.
This guy is like a straight up flip-flopper. Even Chuck Schumer is laughing and other senators are laughing at Mitch McConnell. Look at here.
And for our viewers here with us, it does look like first to step up to the podium is the minority leader, Mitch McConnell. So he is going to be stepping up to the podium, not only talking about infrastructure, let's also listen in to see if he has... Oh, that looks like a sneaky move made by Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, they all laughed at McConnell because Chuck Schumer snuck in and basically stole the podium from him. I mean, this dude's getting bossed. I mean, he's getting bossed around left and right. He's freezing up on stage. Take a look at this.
Consider you're up for election in 3 short years. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, is this a guy?
That's okay. What are your thoughts on running for re-election in 2026?
What am I thoughts about what?
Is this?
Running for re-election in 2026.
God. Running for re-election 2026. Yeah, he still has another 2 freaking years on his term. Give me a break.
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026?
Did you hear the question, Senator? Hey, can you hear me? Apparently he can't hear you.
All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute.
Do you think that this is a man who should be leading our country, where our hard-earned taxpayer dollars are going to this guy? He's probably got an assistant too. Probably got a couple assistants because he's been working in politics for 50 years. I mean, what a joke! I mean, luckily he stepped down as GOP leader, but he still has more time left. Take a listen.
This breaking news gives us a new topic to talk about, definitely on the other side. A Senate minority leader, he's ranking leader in the Senate because Republicans are not in leadership majority. Mitch McConnell will step down from his post in November. And we know that he is the longest serving Senate leader in history who's maintained his power in the face of dramatic...
That's embarrassing because he sucks. He's one of the worst Senate majority leaders I think our country has ever seen. And I'm including Chuck Schumer in there. Like, Mitch McConnell just sucks. This is what Donald Trump said about Mitch McConnell. Can you believe that Mitch McConnell, who has screamed repeal and replace for 7 years, couldn't get it done? Must repeal and replace Obamacare. Yeah, Mitch McConnell. Trump is actually smart. He is actually mentally fit, and he remembers. He remembers what you did, Mitch. You're going to have a really hard time when Trump gets back into the White House, buddy. So you better buckle up, Mitch, and either step down, resign, go home. You're 82 years old. I don't know why you're still up there. I mean, this is an absolute joke. So now Representative Thomas Massey actually came out and revealed the truth with Tucker Carlson about Mitch McConnell. Let's tune in.
Amazing. What do you think of Mitch McConnell after all these years of being in the delegation with him?
He's a shrewd guy.
Yep.
He's quick. He's let me give you an example of how quick he is.
Quick?
So we had a Congressman, Jamie Comer, who's now chair of the Oversight Committee. He got elected in a special election, which means you come in the middle of the term. And you have to boot up with no staff. And so it's kind of, disorienting. So Mitch McConnell had an event for Jamie Comer on his first day in Congress. It was in a townhouse with like 200 lobbyists. By the way, I'm never going to get invited to one of these now that I tell you the story. And so Jamie's there, and McConnell goes, I believe Jamie took his first vote tonight. And
that is such a perfect imitation.
And I wasn't supposed to speak, but I interrupted Senator McConnell, who was at the time the majority leader. And I said, yes, Senator McConnell, he did take his first vote, and I know he has no staff. So I advise Jamie, when you walk into the chamber, look at how I vote, and then vote the other way, and you'll be just fine. And 200 lobbyists thought it was a pretty good joke, and they were laughing. And as the laughter died down, McConnell goes, well, Thomas, I'm glad you and I are giving Jamie the same advice.
What the hell?
And then the place just, the walls almost collapsed.
No, he's good. He's good that way.
So, but I think it's time for new leadership in the Senate. I mean, he's obviously, it's way past time. And this is just a fact. I'll say it. I'll get in trouble for saying it. I'm in races in Kentucky, so we poll things in case, we poll Trump's popularity. We poll the senator's popularity in case they get involved in your race.
Yeah.
And Senator McConnell's favorabilities are lower among Republican primary voters than our Democrat governors.
Yeah, no crap. Why are so many congressmen afraid to address the elephant in the room? Mitch McConnell is struggling. It's time for him to go bye-bye. Do you think it's time for Mitch to go? Comment your thoughts down below.
I need your help. Help me, Or I will tell your friends about your dream walk. If it will win me your friend. Why do the Voss try to stop you getting off the planet? Where can I find you?
Hour and 31 minutes. Let me thumbs up this guy's thing. Oh, I did. Damn, that's old, man. He shouldn't be in there anymore. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude to the elders, but he's got to go, man. Why don't these people leave office? Let the young people take over. Jesus. Anyway, thanks for watching.